Farm4Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm4Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm4Profit Podcast.
And listeners, welcome back to the Farm4Profit Podcast. We are remote. We're
are
not in our studio today. We
Almost better than our studio.
You know, our studio might be catching up to this.
Yeah.
With the amount of memorabilia around, but
Some great inspiration for the studio.
This is one where you may want to pause the video and take a look. I mean, there's a hummingbird right out the window, so yes, there's certainly a lot to take in.
Lots of signatures of cool people, minus the Hawkeye stuff.
We almost took it down and hit it.
Yeah.
That's right. Just leave the Cubs stuff up.
That's fair.
That's fine.
We can do that.
Yeah.
So we're over here at the John Deere Classic, and we are sitting in the office of the Tournament Director, which just sounds prestigious. And we walked in here and took over like we own the place. And now we get to have a really cool conversation, talk about what it's like to run a tournament, and then relate that back to agriculture a little bit. We had a great drive over. It didn't take very much for us to pop on over here to, is this technically Silvis?
Silvis, Illinois.
Yeah. Good. Well, we've got Andrew Lehman here. He's Tournament Director, John Deere Classic, a golf professional tournament on the PGA Tour that takes place right here. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having us on. And how about this weather? Doesn't get any better than this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the volunteer that drove us out here goes, you guys picked good days to be here. And I said, if you only knew, we had no choice. And we just got lucky.
Yeah, no, this is great. It was a little steamy earlier in the week.
What day of the tournament are we?
This is second round, Friday coverage. I guess day 5 for our staff. It really starts on Monday, and but here we are. We're going to make the cut today, and the field gets cut in half, and going to have a great weekend right here.
So what's your prediction? Where's the cut line going to be?
Well, I tell you what, it's going to play challenging this afternoon. So some of those early morning or the guys that are playing yesterday morning have to play this afternoon. It's going to be gusts of up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. So I think you're going to see scores come back down a little bit this afternoon. But, I mean, 59, come on. 14th time it's been done on the PGA Tour, and it's happened twice right here.
Yeah, we were asking again. We wanted to get up to speed. As at least the volunteer Corey and I had that drove us out. Dave's volunteer took him back to Iowa.
On a golf cart.
On a
and
golf
then
cart.
back.
to kind of get a lay of the land. And it sounds like there were some fireworks yesterday on the 4th of July.
Yeah, you know, anytime you get a sub-60 round, that's impressive. Paul Goidos did it, you know, a number of years ago, and at the end of Thursday, he shoots 59. He's got a one-shot lead because Steve Stricker shoots 60, and you know, the guys are so capable of going out and putting, you know, really low rounds together. And any guy in the field, right, 156 players, any one of them can win any given week. I think that's what makes golf so much fun.
Mm-hmm. So I think the direction, guys, I want to go with the episode today is it takes a lot of things to go right to have success, whether you're a professional golfer, a tournament director, or a farmer. And I kind of want to play back and forth, you know, learn here about Andrew and then relate that back to things that our listeners can grab a hold of. So I think that's my goal today. But let's first meet Andrew. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Well, grew up in western Iowa, Carroll, Iowa, farming community, believe it or not. So out of college, went to Iowa State. So I know we made reference to all the Hawkeye stuff. Iowa State grad, diehard Iowa fan.
How does that happen?
You know, I actually thank my lucky stars every day that I didn't get into Iowa. Iowa State took me. But, you know, Iowa State's campus was awesome. I wouldn't trade my 4 years of Ames for anything. And I came here in 2006 to do an internship, and this group was a staff of 5 people at the time. And, you know, really didn't think there'd be a job offer waiting for me. And thankfully, a gal on that 5-person staff quit on the Monday after tournament, and I just happened to be a warm body to fill a chair. And 18 years later, here we are, and just have enjoyed such a great career here at the John Deere Classic. And, you know, putting this event on for this community each and every year, it's the highlight of the summer for town and, or, you know, for the community, and the economic impact, the driving force is our charitable numbers, and those are all things that John Deere takes a ton of pride in. So, you know, those are at the forefront of our mind every day.
Speaking of pride, I was looking above your desk, and you got all the labels of the different jobs that you've had throughout your move to the top as director. Tell us about that ride to the top.
Yeah, well, you know, I think they came up with the title project coordinator when they hired me. I don't think they knew what that meant or what that would entail. But kind of a jack of all trades, and I guess I must have knocked it out of the park in year one because I got promoted to project manager.
Oh.
A little bit better title there after year one, and became assistant tournament director in 2009 and had such, the privilege of working for Claire Peterson, and he's so respected on the PGA Tour and throughout the ranks. And, he was a John Deere employee in this role and had a long career at Deere and Company before doing this. And, my background is operations. So I was the operations guy here for, 10 plus years and building everything that goes out on the golf course. And then when Claire retired, I was fortunate enough to become tournament director, and I just take a ton of pride in it, and it's something that I never get tired of telling people.
What did you go to Iowa State for?
Sports management. Believe it or not, Iowa didn't have a sports management program when I went to college, and Iowa State did, and now Iowa State doesn't have a program, and the University of Iowa has one.
Huh.
Yeah, go Cyclones.
Yeah. That's interesting. How about a little bit of history of the course? When did this tournament start and all that kind of stuff?
Well, we've been around. This is our 53rd year. Okay. So 1971 was the first year of the Quad Cities Open, and it was at the first 2 years Crow Valley Country Club over in Bettendorf, and then from there it was at Oakwood Country Club out in Coal Valley for, until 1999 was the last year at Oakwood. And John Deere signed on to be title sponsor in 1997. They're actually the second longest title sponsor right now on the PGA Tour, and their goal, even though they signed the deal in 97, this golf course was supposed to open in 1999, and due to construction delays, they put their name on it in 99, but the first tournament at Deere Run was in 2000.
Okay. Interesting.
It's confusing.
Well, the other thing that might be a little confusing to us, I know Dave and I were standing down here watching number 2 green as people were hitting in there, and he goes, his job is all year for 1 week of golf?
Yeah.
So, this is the only tournament that you manage?
Yeah, we're a staff of 8. So, from a sales director, an operations manager, we've got somebody who oversees our Birdies for Charity program. We've got somebody who does all the fundraising on our behalf because of the unique way our Birdies for Charity runs. And we've got $1 million goal on our side to make sure that we're supporting the nonprofits that are part of that $14.1 million last year. And we'll tear this place down starting next week and start doing the recaps, and we start selling almost by the end of July for 2025, and we start looking at, how can we change the build, how can we do new and innovative things. And you saw the concerts on course thing come to life last year, and this thing just gets bigger and better each year, and it's all about the spectator experience when they're out here.
So you're a staff of 8, but there are a lot more people here than that.
2,000 plus volunteers, the lifeblood of the John Deere Classic.
Wow, I was wondering.
Holy smokes.
How many spectators show up a day?
It depends. We'll have on the weekend. Saturday will be north of 10,000, and we'll be pushing 13 or 14,000 on Sunday. So, yeah, good numbers. It feels busy when you get that many people out here.
Wow.
2,000 volunteers. Imagine if you had to pay those 2,000 people,
Yeah, giving freely of their time and their talent.
Wow.
They're the best.
Do they get a free hot dog at least?
We feed them lunch every day. They're well taken care of, and they look great out there. And hands down, the best volunteers on the PGA Tour. They're so welcoming. You guys obviously understand the Midwest nice thing, and we hear it over and over again, whether it's a vendor or a player or a caddy or family, that how great the volunteers are out here at making them feel welcome, and they're so friendly, and they just take a ton of pride in the work they do. And There's long days out here. I mean, our job, we'll be here this week over 7 days, north of 110 hours. But you got to find, moments of, joy in all this because it's so much fun and so rewarding.
So all the volunteers are very passionate. I can tell you're very passionate about sports just sitting in your office here. You said Iowa State. You said sports management. Did you play sports that made you want to become a manager?
Yeah, so I played baseball. I mean, I played golf growing up, but baseball and basketball is what I played, and I wanted to ultimately work in baseball. And fortunately for me, when I came here, I did not get the internship with the River Bandits because they were full, and happened to land here. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me is landing in golf. And as much as I love baseball, I'm glad I'm not working, 81 home games a year.
They didn't even think about it from
Did
that
you play
perspective.
club ball at Iowa State?
I did not. Nope. I focused on partying when I was in
Yeah.
college and enjoying the best of what that has to offer.
So I was a 2009 grad from Iowa State
Okay.
as well. So yeah, I was probably same thing.
Yeah, just living it
Majored
up.
in- yeah, Welch Ave. A lot of that.
Yeah, lived on Welch.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
good spot to be.
Yeah, that's trouble.
So what do you think has been the key to making these 7 days go smoothly? Obviously, we're talking about volunteers, but is there something that you've picked up on that really helps you get ahead of the ballgame?
Well, it's legions of people who are out here for months leading into the tournament and putting time and effort in, and our staff and our group is so detail oriented and almost everyone has a type A personality. So everything's in the details, and weather like this certainly makes the week much better. We're blessed. Last year's weather was spectacular. I mean, it's hard to be out here when it's 105 degree heat index, and it's just awesome. And there's so much that goes into putting this on, and all the people that take a ton of pride in it. And you sit back and look at it from a 30,000 foot view, and you get done with the week and you try to remember certain things that happened, and it's about the people. It's about the families that are coming through the gate, making memories with kids. And, if we watch the concert on Saturday, you'll see so many kids running around. All that is what, drives the force for us to make sure that we're doing the best we can during the event week.
So you said 50 plus years, and you had a predecessor that you were assistant under. Is there anything strategic that you've tried to bring into the tournament to put your own flavor on it?
Well, yeah, I think, the concerts were new last year, and our field for the last 2 years has gotten better. And that's not a byproduct of anything that we've changed in our process. It's more to do with some of the PGA Tour changes and the way the schedule is working. And you now have signature events that have $20 million purses. So
Wow.
there's 40-some odd events that take place, and players are going to play anywhere from 19 to 23 times a year. So you go out and sell the golf course, you sell the community, you sell everything that you can do. And we're blessed that John Deere allows us to host the Big Dig during tournament week, and players and families get to go out and to the test site and drive equipment. And, you get into a bulldozer and start moving Mother Earth. That gets pretty fun.
I guess Corey was asking as we were walking out here, why you don't see the whole field here, the whole top 50. Why is it so important to have those top players that you do have?
Well, I'll say this, and it's not for lack of trying. We have conversations with all those guys, and so many of these guys now play international schedules, and you got the Scottish Open the week after us, the Open Championships the week after that. So, and then it's an Olympic year, that the Paris Olympics. So, you're going out and talking with them. I will tell you, Jordan Spieth has won here in 2013 and 2015. He's back after missing the tournament for 9 years. He's got kids, had a blast at the Big Dig, but you start to get a fan favorite, Jason Day, Zach obviously is, Steve Stricker would be when he was playing here, and Jordan. I mean, those 24 hours of ticket sales that happened after Jordan committed the phones were ringing, just gangbusters. So, you always want to put guys that are going to help sell tickets, but like I said before, any of these guys can win any given week, and they're all such great players.
I want to go back to, we asked what it takes to get an event like this to go. It makes me think of harvest or planting sometimes,
Right.
where you spend all summer getting ready, getting your equipment ready to go, and it's finally time to go. And most of us know it doesn't usually go right to begin with. So what usually goes wrong here that we don't even notice?
Well, we always tell our people it's like a wedding. There's going to be plenty of small things that don't go right, and, no one's going to notice those things. And when you have something that may go wrong that's a bigger issue, you adapt and you overcome, and you may make changes for the next day. And to your point about farming, we're talking weather, and so much plays into when harvest is going to be. Could be a late harvest, an early harvest, and it's no different from the event business, and things may not always happen in the same sequence that you're used to, and you just have to be nimble and adjust and be flexible to make sure that you're doing the best you can to execute it.
So help me understand what's the tie? So John Deere doesn't own the course, correct?
So this land was donated to the PGA Tour by John Deere.
Okay.
This land, it was the Hewitt family farm. They raised Arabian horses here. And when they donated the land to the PGA Tour for this golf course to be built, there were two stipulations. One, it had to remain open to the public so people could come out here and enjoy it. And they didn't change a ton of the topography out here. It's the rolling hills of the river valley. And, D.A. Weibring, when they designed the golf course, did such a an incredible job of weaving golf into the natural terrain of this property. And you walk around here, and I don't think people quite understand how hilly this golf course is. And
I wouldn't want to carry my own clubs.
no, we call this, we're sitting right here, this is 3T, and we call this Cardiac Hill. And there's a bunch of junior tournaments out here in the summer, and they all use push carts, and you can see them just pushing their carts up the hill. It's a good spot to sit, and these windows we're sitting in here in, they're tinted, so no one can see in here, so they don't see me chuckling when they're going up the hill.
Nice.
That's entertaining. So you mentioned that a lot of your team is type A personalities and focus on the details, but what tools do you use to stay organized, to keep yourself straight?
That's a great question. Understanding you've got to be like a duck on the pond, calm on the surface and fluttering under the water. And, we're making changes every day. And it's just the prep going into the week and making sure that, every detail is ironed out. And, you look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a tournament week, there's so many things going on. It's always refreshing to get to Thursday because you kind of turn it over to the PGA Tour, and they're running the athletic contest of the business, and we focus on all of our guests, whether it's the volunteers, the patrons who are out here, all the hospitality guests, and kind of shift midweek, and it's just nice to turn it over to them, and they can worry about what's happening inside the ropes. We'll take care of everything else.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping that we might get an invite for that Pro-Am that went on, or
yeah.
Tanner's actually a pretty good golfer.
As soon as we get off the mics, we're gonna work on it for next year.
Work on it for
My uncle actually played in the Pro-Am. I think, it was probably back in the 90s or early 2000s with Steve Stricker.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
what a story.
Yeah, and I didn't find that out until our ribbon cutting of our new studio, and he was wearing his John Deere Classic shirt, and I'm like, where'd you get that? He's like, I played because he used to sell for John Deere.
Yeah.
And gave me that whole story.
Well,
so
Steve Stricker, he's one of a kind.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, you got to work on getting you guys in the Pro-Am. We got to start talking to Mara and the brand team over at Deere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be.
I mean, Tanner could actually play, and then Dave and I would probably have to let caddy.
Yeah, we could.
Hey, there's something for everybody.
Follow him around and with mics and make some jokes.
Maybe one can caddy and one can heckle.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yes, you'll be the guys that heckle on every tee box.
Yeah,
you're quiet for everybody else except for when I hit.
Yeah.
There you go.
At least I would expect it to be. It'd be consistent.
I did like your all ears, please, instead of
cool.
quiet, please.
Yeah, those are our new quiet please paddles,
a little
and
corn on it.
You look at things like that, trying to weave the John Deere branding into everything we do, and we're blessed. I mean, they're a 180-plus-year-old company, and they trust us, a team of 8, with their Fortune 100 brand to make sure that we're delivering out here for them.
That's good.
So, what are some of your favorite memories from these events, either this year or years past?
Oh gosh, they all blur together. I got engaged at the tournament when I was an intern, so there's that. I kind of got.
You were destined to be here.
If I could go back and do that over, I'd do it somewhere else. But, it ended up in the newspaper and on the news. But, you look back
where did you do it?
I kind of panicked, and I even had the ring facing me. I didn't even have it facing her. So.
What was it on number 1?
No, they made me put it on a Jumbotron up by the cloud. I got pressured. And,
I got pressured into it.
As a 23 or 4-year-old kid, I just caved. But something I'll always remember, and this place, this property, this golf tournament just means so much to, myself and my family. And, it's to bring my family out here and have my kids. They've been out 3 days already this week. They're coming the next 3. And to see, they both like to play the game of golf. They're 10 and 13. But to know that even though they don't see me that much for about 3 or 4 weeks, that they can come out here and have a blast. And so, but to answer your question, the 3 Stricker years in a row, 2009 through 2011, obviously you had Zach win in 2012, and he, Jordan was winning in 13 and 15, and, we've just had such a great run. But ultimately, the reason our staff gets up and goes to work every day is for the charitable impact that this tournament makes. $14.1 million last year, which was a record. $173 million since inception in 1971.
Wow.
98% of that $173 million has been raised since John Deere became title sponsor.
Wow. Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Where do all those donations go?
Well, we've got about 480 nonprofits that are part of our Birdies for Charity program. They go out and do all the soliciting of their own pledging. All that money is coming through here, and because John Deere underwrites the Birdies for Charity program, we're able to give back 100% of every donation that's collected to them. Wow. When I mentioned before that we go out and try to raise $1 million, we promise a 5% bonus on that money. Last year we did 7.5%, so it's a great deal for our nonprofits. There's not I don't know where you're getting that return on your money. And, you know, in most cases, we're sometimes their largest donor as well. And, you know, to go out and do $14.1 million in a 380,000 person community, one of the smallest markets on the PGA Tour, but making one of the largest charitable impacts, you know, it's just something that, you know, is near and dear to our heart.
And so is that a PGA donation type deal that then goes to whatever their philanthropy is, or is it a Iowa-based philanthropy that gets the beneficiary of that?
Well, it's like I said, we got 480 nonprofits that are probably within about a 100-mile radius.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Again, every PGA Tour event is driving money to charity. I think that's what separates, you know, when you look at the game of golf and where guys are playing, every PGA Tour event is hyper-focused on charity. So to put that much money in the community, you know, it's just an awesome thing.
Cool.
Where does the purse come from for the players then?
So this whole deal is set up as a 3-party agreement. It takes the PGA Tour and a title sponsor, so John Deere, to enter into an agreement. We become the third party in that. We're considered the host organization. So all that's figured out in the contract between the title sponsor and the PGA Tour.
Okay. As Dave was asking, like, what's a golfer even get paid to come here? Just like
Yeah.
even if you get cut, do you get paid?
They don't make money if they miss the cut. It's an $8 million purse, which I think, it's 18% is what the winner takes home, which I believe, if my math is correct, is $1.44 million this year.
Okay. That'd be okay.
That's worth planning.
That's not a bad
Be
week.
all right.
Worth walking up this hill to number 3 tee box.
Cardiac hill.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I'd have a heart attack for that much.
So how far down do you think does everybody that make the cut get something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You make the cut, you're making money that week.
There you go. That's your goal.
It's not 1.44 million though when you're down at tied for 63rd.
So do they have a term for it in golf? So like in rodeo, it's you made the second go. So you made the final cut. You made the second go. You're going to go again. Yeah. Is there a slang for golf? Like you're
you made the cut.
Just in the cut. All right, fair enough.
Did not make cut, made cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps it nice and simple as far as that goes. I just can't fathom what it's like to manage a team of 2,000 volunteers, and you have a staff of 8 that is able to put an event like this on together.
Yeah, we're a staff of 8. We've got 40 or so, 36 volunteer board members. It's all a volunteer position. We've got about 130 different committee chairs that are taking that message. So board meetings, committee meetings, and they're taking the messaging back to the volunteers. And you know, it starts with all of them. They're the ones leading that charge. But it's just, you know, it's an upside down pyramid, right? I guess it's a regular pyramid. You got us 8 here. You got the board, the committee chairs, and the volunteers are the big piece at the bottom.
What did our cart driver say on the way out, why he volunteered?
Yes, it was 9th year doing it, and he felt like it was his obligation to make this event a success because of the impact that it has for the community. He said 13.9 million.
Yeah. And then we were corrected to 14.1.
Right. And he just basically said that he feels like it is his job to be here and do what he can to help make something with such an impact successful.
That's all 2,000 of them. You know, they're out here working shifts.
We walked in the front gate, and we were an anomaly because we got a rolling case full of camera equipment and recording equipment.
All the stuff the sign says not to bring.
Not to bring.
Yeah,
That's us.
I guess I need to go check my security team. We got through.
Yeah,
we did.
And the story gets better off mic. No, just kidding. But right away, there was a gal that, you know, I wished I'd looked at name tags. That said, well, where are you headed? We said, to Stonehouse. And she goes, oh.
That's a long walk, she says.
Immediately found us golf carts and golf cart drivers to bring us out here. We got down in here, set up, ready to go. So I applaud the crew in that top-down approach. The message is definitely making it all the way to the bottom to make the experience as good as it can be.
Yeah, no, it is. And, you know, we hear it from players and family and just how accommodating the volunteers are, how friendly they are. Hey, how can I help you? Hey, have a great day today. And, you know, you're at a golf tournament, and it's 70-some degrees out today. There's a breeze. It's got a little chill in the air. How could you not be happy? It's July in the Midwest.
It's beautiful.
So, Corey, you need to remember that when you go into harvest this year. Calm, above the water. Don't let anybody that's helping you out know the difference.
Right.
And make sure their day is good.
Yeah.
So we're Farm for Profit. No, a lot of our listeners are just always trying to make themselves better. Okay, that's one reason John Deere sponsors us, is because they're always trying to make stuff better too. You said you were at the right place at the right time. Just happened to go to Iowa State instead of Iowa. You just happened to be here and happened to get the right warm body. Was there something else that you
Way
think?
to make him sound qualified.
What
He's
else?
all right. That's accurate,
There's something in there. It didn't just happen. What are our listeners looking for to try to make their way?
I lived, and this gets passed down to every intern that comes through this office. There is no insignificant task.
Okay.
Whether it's a small task or a huge task, it's all got to be done, right? And sometimes you can't do, A, B, C, and D until something else is done. And you got to be flexible, and I must have done something right in 2006 to, ultimately get offered a job. And, I think it's hard work. It's enjoying what you do and never taking any day that we have for granted, because you never know. And this event has been saved so many times by, civic groups, individuals step forward to save this thing. And ultimately, the best thing that's ever happened to this tournament was John Deere signing on to be title sponsor, and hands down the best title sponsor on the PGA Tour. And, the way that they weave their business into this, they've got an official marketing partnership with the PGA Tour. They've got the equipment supplier deal with all the TPC networks, and, they're in the golf and turf business. So that's so helpful. And you look at the various title sponsors, and there's so many great ones, but from a business standpoint, and they're able, as a global company, and the PGA Tour as a global platform, to be able to showcase that around the world. And I went to the Open Championship in Northern Ireland in 2019 and wore a green John Deere hat. And the amount of people that come up to you and tell you their John Deere story is just so incredible.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's got one.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't matter if you grew up on the farm or not. It could be just a lawnmower.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, oh,
Toy
man.
tractor, yeah.
Yep.
I think, as we looked around, you have a Believe sign
Ted Lasso
above your door, and it is. It's just like remembering what your football coach and basketball coach used to put above the door to the locker room, and everybody tap it on the way out.
Yep.
I think that's probably a major part of being a successful person too.
You got to believe. If you're not believing, good things aren't happening. So.
But you grew up a Cubs fan, so it was maybe easy
2016, baby. We'll always have 2016. Got my World Series ticket right over there.
Is that a real Cubs ring?
No.
No.
That's an eBay special.
That's
$9.99.
I don't think they'd be sitting out open on shelf
For us to take.
You can try it on, though.
That'd make me feel better. I don't think I'd try the real one on.
No.
I'm gonna get John Deere to make some Cubs shoes like you got.
So these are the red, white, and blue Jordans for, obviously, the 4th of July yesterday, big part of our week, and we're celebrating Folds of Honor today. Such a great organization that goes out and supports fallen soldiers, families, kids with scholarships for college. So we're giving away 18 scholarships to military families this week, and red, white, and blue today for one last day, and then we're going green and yellow John Deere for the weekend.
Cool.
You got green and yellow Jordans?
I do. And my daughter, I took the crease protectors out, and she's 10. She about shot me last night because they're starting to crease up a little bit.
I guess I didn't realize there was crease. I need a pair of Jordans. I told you on the way over that there's going to be a lot more Jordans. He's like, I forgot my dress shoes. Like, it's not – golf isn't dress shoes anymore.
He says people are wearing Jordans now.
Yeah, they wear Jordans with
you gotta stay up with the kids. You gotta try to be cool.
Right. Yep.
That's good.
A lot of comments on these shoes, though.
I bet they're nice. Yeah. Do you get to travel, or do you travel to a lot of other tournaments to kind of get their feng shui?
Yeah, I go recruiting, talk to players or agents, and probably do that 4 times a year, and try to go around the property and look at best practices, what other tournaments are doing, and how can we do things differently or better, and just have an open mind. And so we're out there 4 or 5 times a year, and then tour meetings at the end of the year in December where all the tournaments come together, and we're all in this together. We're all trying to do the best that we can for our community. So there's not a lot of competition out there, and it's what makes the PGA Tour so great, is that every event has its own flavor, and every title sponsor has what they want to try to accomplish that week and weave it into the event. So John Deere, there's no mistaking where you are when you're at the John Deere Classic, though.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us. But we do ask all of our guests a similar question in bunches. So the one that you get to roll into is, what's the best food you've ever eaten, and where did you get it from?
Are we talking here or
No.
anywhere?
Anywhere
in your life.
Ooh, that's a great question. You know what? I'm going to keep it simple. I have a trophy right over there. There's a hat sitting on it, so I'm defacing the trophy. Our family, my grandparents are no longer with us, but my grandma, her birthday was July 4th, and every 4th of July, we would smoke ribs. Ooh. And so I miss my grandma and grandpa's ribs. We carry on that tradition through a family reunion every year, and we have a rib cook-off. So, I mean, there's a lot of great food that I've eaten. I love food. But I would say my grandparents' ribs in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Miss that.
Is that on the 4th?
We used to do it on the 4th. I'm a little busy on the 4th of
Yeah,
July
I was gonna
these
say.
days.
I was like, how do you do that?
They actually hosted the first one on the 4th without me. So there's an asterisk on that trophy for whoever won that first year.
That's kind of funny. So are you a fall off the bone ribs guy, or do you like it to still have a little pull? You dry rub saucy?
Now we're getting into it. Ribs should never just fall off the bone. I mean, we're not serving pulled pork here. But they should come off when you use your, when you go at it.
Yeah.
Definitely a dry rub, but the key is if we're doing competition ribs here, you got to have butter when you wrap them with brown sugar and honey. And then that last hour in the smoker, sauce, so the sauce glazes on. And it's not like you're eating a really saucy rib.
Right.
Now I'm hungry.
Same thing. Yeah, same here.
Hey, you can get a pork chop sandwich out here today.
Okay.
There
good.
you go.
That's a staple of the
Need
John
to
Deere
get some
Classic.
pork. Yep.
We might have to
Is
head
that's
that
the
way.
staple sandwich of the John Deere Classic?
The pork chop sandwich is the staple. We actually have ray gun T-shirts made that say "Follow me to Pork Chop Hill," which is down by 16 grand.
Oh, we gotta get some of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love our pork.
We do.
We were out in California at the World Ag Expo, and their prime deal was a tri-tip sandwich.
Tri-tip sandwich.
Yep, those were good.
Now you're making me hungry.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get this wrapped up, but I do appreciate you sharing your experience and your story, and I know our listeners are going to pull some value out of that. The key points that I grabbed was, your duck analogy is spot on. No matter what situation you're in, if you can be as calm as possible on the surface, no matter what your stress level is, but doing the small things correctly, and then also not sweating the small things all at the same time, because most people aren't going to notice.
Yeah.
I doubt people driving by Dave's new field are going to realize that you didn't have the right width spacing as you started.
Got to bring that up again, don't you?
Because if they did
put it on
notice, now
TikTok.
they're going to point it out. But then being nimble to adjust.
Yes.
You got it all figured out. Same thing. It turned out fine. You still got corn to pop up in rows, but that's probably going to be a lot too. And then the fact that we have a lot of young listeners are probably going to take some value, I hope, out of that there is no unmeaningful task.
That's right.
Whether you're the guy with the grease gun or you're the guy running the combine, it's all going to get everybody to the finish line together. So I got a couple of things out of today's episode. I appreciate you sharing those.
Yeah, appreciate that. And, you just never know when the door is going to open. So for the young listeners, when it does, make sure you're ready to kick that door through and make the most of the opportunity, because you don't know who's watching, who's got authority to maybe offer you a job. And it's just young people are great. And, we need to continue to bring. We're trying to grow the game of golf. We want young people out here. That's why I said it's so fun to see all the families out here with kids. And golf's a game for life, so it's something that they should be able to enjoy, whether you're an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the same thing with farming. Farming
Absolutely.
is for life also. And you never know when that new landlord's watching.
How often do you get to golf out here?
My golf starts in August. I think I've played once this year, and it didn't go well. Not up to how I'd want to play. So, but
I like to hear that.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to go out and do it with my kids, and this is just such a great property, and they love playing it. We have a simulator at home in our basement, and my son's always playing Deere Run on the simulator. I'm like, dude, you can play Deere Run whenever you want. Why are you playing Deere Run on the simulators? He's like, I love it. So,
Nice.
by the way, thanks to all the farmers. Without the farmers, we're not here, and everything that people touch, comes from farmers. So we're so appreciative of that.
Yeah.
That's
Iowa
great.
Corn even had a stat yesterday that I shared that even the fireworks have two products from corn in them.
Really?
Yeah. To hold the binders to hold the powder together and all that. I'm like,
There
it's
you
in
go.
everything, man.
There you go. Have you guys tried the corn flavored ice cream yet?
No.
Yeah, they've got a special flavor this week from Whitey's Ice Cream. It's called Aw Shucks, and it's corn flavored ice cream.
That's great.
Well, we got to get done with this podcast.
Yeah.
We can go eat.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
It's
Thank you.
I kind of view his job kind of like farming. Like you got this, probably everyone's watching you during this week and weeks leading up to it, but all the work is done, afterwards. Everyone's watching the farmers in the field running the tractors, but really it's kind of a small window of time.
Yeah.
So
well,
cool.
and you guys get it. Being from the Midwest, we get called the flyover states, right? But cornfields and harvest, like that's so just beautiful work that's happening, and that's one of my favorite things to see during, like if Iowa. Not Iowa State, but if Iowa's got a primetime game or something, and they do the vignettes and the broadcast with the aerial shots of the farmers in the field in the fall. So
I still don't know
Go
how
Cyclones.
that happened. Yeah, I still don't know how that happened.
Claire Peterson, who was here before me, is an Iowa State grad, and he says, this is his recollection of it, that it was a classic bait and switch. He says I had Iowa State stuff on my car when I showed up, and then it changed to Hawkeye. So
we need to get a Brock Purdy helmet signed over here for you.
Yeah.
we need to get him over here. Actually, I went after Tyrese Halliburton to try to play in the Pro-Am, and we've got a connection to him a little bit, and wasn't going to work with the Olympic schedule, so we had to settle for Keegan Murray, a great Hawkeye.
Yeah, it was a settle though.
It wasn't a settle.
You said it. You said it.
I mean, Keegan had 12 threes in an NBA game, so
Yeah,
I'm
he's
pretty
good.
sure that's what we're going to clip and put at the front of the podcast episode.
yeah, please do.
That's great.
I guess I'll never get him back again.
Never get
I doubt he listens.
I hope he is.
I hope he does too.
I don't think we're right up his alley, but no, this has been our pleasure. We appreciate you letting us take over your office and inviting us to your tournament, and we're excited to experience it the next 2 days.
Well, anybody who becomes a friend of the tournament has a lifetime exemption, so look forward to having you guys back
Love
for
it.
more
Cool.
than just this year.
No, we were here last year.
Right.
Well, look, we're in here too. Let's go.
He said, I got a picture. He said. No, that's great. Yeah, and listeners, we appreciate you listening too. Well, Corey, we just got done talking with Andrew, and we understand that volunteers are a very critical piece into making sure the John Deere Classic goes off.
2,000 of them.
Over 2,000 of them.
Yeah.
And what we didn't get was the data as to how many of them have done it for year after year after year.
Keep coming back.
They do, for more. Glutton for punishment?
I guess. I think it's a testament, to what the tournament represents and what they do.
It is exciting to hear about the way this tournament helps the charities within the area, being able to give back. But Ian, I want to learn too from some actual volunteers on how this tournament has affected their lives. So that's what we've got. We got 2 of them here, and we told them we're going to keep them in check. We're not going to go for 3 hours.
They've tried to get us off the rails already.
Joe Rogan.
We have.
But,
Which would be no surprise to anybody. No, it won't.
but we have both Amy and Jenny here, so we're excited to have a conversation. They had to wait for us to get off the green. We went to try and watch a little golf. We got to do a lot of that today.
Yep.
And got stuck behind the ropes.
Yeah.
No problem.
We were good. We had something to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And then we wondered if we just got punked. Too. So maybe we got punked.
You were seeing all the cameras. You're like, wait.
Yes, that was my first concern, actually.
Normally, if you're getting punked, they're a little bit more hidden.
Because we're like,
in the doorway.
It's a podcast, not a video. All right, anyway.
Yes. Oh, let's start with you first, Amy.
Okay.
Let's get an idea of what your involvement's been as a volunteer, how long you've been doing it, what you've been doing.
Okay, so I would say I started thinking back as you mentioned what we'd be discussing. So this tournament used to be at Oakwood before it was here, and Oakwood Country Club. And my mom and dad, I remember growing up in the 80s, and they would help out at that tournament. So they would help at concession stands, and it would be one of those deals where, like, our church would, we supply so many volunteers, and I think they'd kick back a little bit of money to St. Paul's. So that's my first experience in going out there and even going to the tournament and helping out them. And then I get to hold the quiet sign, as a 12-year-old. So then I flashed to when it came to the TPC, and my husband and I both always love coming out here. We love coming to the event, and we helped marshal, a couple different holes, a couple different times. And then Sean was asked to be part of the board. And so he got to help out in a whole different capacity. And we really, as a volunteer, and got to be involved in so many different awesome, cool ways that are kind of behind the scenes. When you run an event like that, when you run a tournament and you have 2,000 volunteers, over 2,000, there are so many aspects to this tournament that you don't even know are happening and seamlessly, hopefully, because you want things to go well and you want people to come and hang out here and be part of this, because there's still a lot of people in our Quad Cities that don't necessarily go to the tournament. And okay, I'm kind of getting off task here, but our daughter, or a little derail, lives in Chicago, and newly, she's been there for a year, and one of the nurses she works with said, "Hey, I'm going back. You're from the Quad Cities. My family and I always go back to this. We go to this tournament, the John Deere Classic." And Shannon's like, our kids have grown up in this tournament. So they have helped, because when Sean, they were like, 9 and 7, when we started our major involvement with this tournament. So she's like, "Oh, we always go back to that tournament." Shannon's like, "Great, I'll see you Sunday. Let's meet up there," which was awesome for us. But then I'm also like, how do we get more people even locally as excited about it? Anyway, so I'm derailing there. I went off the rails. So we've helped out with marshaling. Now we're doing this. I would say recent. I've marshaled a ton, whether it's in suites, whether it's on holes. We have helped out. My kids have helped out with calligraphy. They've helped on the ball range, where they're sorting out the golf balls, because if you're this player, you can only hit this brand. If you're this player, you can only hit this brand. So things that are as mundane as, we got to sort the balls from the driving range because you like to use this brand or not like to. That's you're sponsoring. You have to. You don't have a choice. Yes. And then the courtesy cart thing has been so fun that it's new the past 2 years. So it's through admissions, and it's literally a courtesy, which I would love to know. Somebody asked me today, does any other tournament provide this? So you're in a boot. Well, let us drive you out to your suite, to the hole, wherever hole you're going to sit and watch. Yeah. Give us a call if you're a person that needs extra assistance, whether it's something you were born with, something it's new, you had surgery, whatever. We'll drive you there, and we'll take you to your spot, and give us a call, and we'll come pick you up and get you back out to your gate or to your car or whatever you need us to do. So it's just been fun. I'm trying to think if I don't want to steal it all and let Jenny say something about her experience through the tournament, but it's truly, it's been year after year after year. And I'm going to tell you, so for me, it's probably, Sean and I were trying to do the math. It's been at least the past 11 straight years, but it's been a lot, it's hit and miss before that. But there are so many people I've met out here, which is when Ashley asked me, she's like, "Hey, do you want to do this podcast?" I'm like, I'm happy to hype up the John Deere Classic. But there are so many people out here that have been volunteering for 30 plus years, like way longer than I have. Like, they're the ones that you should be talking to. It's unbelievable to me. And the Goodwill cart. You got to talk about the Goodwill cart. I love that one too. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Look at that. She's passing it right off to you.
Well, I am. I don't want to.
No, you're good. You're good.
But anyway, so I would say that's good for now. You can take it away.
Well, and not just 30, 40. We've got Stan, who's been here 52 years volunteering. Stan Leach.
Oh, yeah.
He was the mayor of Moline.
Yeah.
52 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's just, but they all keep coming back because it's the people. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're outside. It's golf. Some people like golf, some don't. But honestly, it's about the people. They come back. I met a couple the other day. They met out when I was at Oakwood 41 years ago. That's where they met volunteering. They married. They volunteered a little bit longer. Then their lives changed direction. So they did their thing. They are now back volunteering as a couple. And they said if it hadn't been for now the John Deere Classic, they never would have met.
Well, I'm glad that's the direction it went, because when you said their life went a different direction,
I know. Yeah.
Then they separated.
No, they're very happy. They're very nice. They're super excited. But so that's how Amy and I met out here, because I started volunteering out here about 15 years ago for public radio, WQPT. They needed concessions, and I feel like I've been doing concessions forever. So I came out, volunteered for that, and then my husband, like Amy's, was asked to be on the board. And then they do a really nice job, because when you are on that board, it's not just a week. It's when you're on that board, it's every week, especially the route the two of them took. They're nonstop all year for anywhere between 10 to 12, 13 years. Right. And COVID added an extra year for us because Lee was a chairman in 20 and 21. Right. So, but honestly, they don't want to give it up. Sometimes we get to see these guys all the time, but sometimes it's the only time. Every year I look forward to saying, "How was your winter? What did you do?" And, and like Amy, I've done concessions there used to be a family. Well, there still is a family zone.
I forgot about
that. But
it
used to actually be bigger, and every day. And so I used to be in there every day all week long. And
That sounds exhausting.
It was. I'm a teacher, not currently teaching anymore, but I think that, obviously there was mostly younger families, but it was great, although I didn't get to get outside a lot. Right. But it was a great experience. Then Goodwill Cart that she was referring to earlier is something that different board members will do. But you jump on and you go around and give water and granola bars and lunch to all the volunteers. Mm-hmm. So you are spreading goodwill amongst all the volunteers because, they're like, I'm here for work. Well, they aren't being paid. Okay. Sure. They get a lunch. They actually have to pay for their shirt. Okay. So you're actually paying like $27 for your shirt. So there are people who they take their vacation for this. Mm-hmm. And so it's not only local Quad City people. There are always people that we meet each year that they are retired, and they often do it as couples or friends. They travel, they pick a few tournaments around the country that will allow you to jump in, and that's how they either have friends that they stay with or they have RVs, and they love coming to the Classic because they said people are, it's organized, it's so welcoming, it's just a different part of the country, and it's so accessible. Some tournaments I'm sure you've all been to that it could be a little bit more rigid. I think this is the greatest thing. If I lived like Chicago or whatever, I wouldn't worry about doing. I'd come here. It's so accessible. You're right there. You get the whole thing, and it's just great. But it's really about the people.
I'm excited to walk around tomorrow. We got the short abbreviated hole number 1, hole number 2 tour to get to our spot. Yep. And we've been in our spot all day until you guys showed up, and then we were gone while you were here. No, wait. So we haven't seen a lot, but I can tell you what, from watching the volunteers that help in, very courteous. We did get to see.
As soon as we got here, I mean, we got offered carts.
Good.
They're like, where are you guys going?
Yep.
And we told them here, and they're like, oh, you can't walk that far with that equipment. I'm like, we can walk. I mean, we're perfectly able.
Right.
I know. But we don't, really our goal is we want everybody to have a very happy, joyful experience. Mm-hmm. Because hopefully, I'm sure you were greeted by people who were smiling and excited to see you.
Oh, yeah. It was entertaining because we walked in with 4 backpacks and 2 rolling carts of equipment, and their eyeballs went,
oh.
Everything the sign says not to bring.
Right.
No cameras, no tripod, no audio. We have all this, and we didn't tell them, oh, you can't get into it. They went through every bag. They did their roll and everything too, but then they immediately flipped from everything's okay to how do we get you to where you need to go?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. We're the Disney World of the PGA.
It kind of felt like it. It really did.
That's our goal.
Yeah. Except for I never got that treatment down at Disney. This was better.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think you guys both said you're were teachers, aren't you?
I am.
Amy still currently is. I am not. Mm-hmm. I'm banking now. But
banking. So you didn't work for Deere?
No. Neither of us have ever worked for Deere.
And none of the, if you're asked to be on the board, you don't work for Deere.
Yeah.
Really?
You're a volunteer. It's a volunteer. And so again, like Jenny said, it's at least a 9-year commitment, depending on if you're asked to take kind of another path, it might be up to a 12-year commitment.
Yeah.
How do they decide who's going to be on the board or who they want to ask?
It's I would say it's community involvement. It's what are you? Okay, so we're not going to put this on the podcast. Like, what do you do for a living? Where are you at? Like, they need people that have maybe some finance background. They want people that are who know how to manage people.
You're going to have to manage a section. Yeah, somebody has to manage all the volunteers.
He was telling us that it is literally like a pyramid. It's his staff of 8, and then the 40 or so board members, and then everybody gets.
But there's like 6 board members who are. Is it 6, Jenny? Is that right?
Who are
exec? They're called executive board members. So they would eventually be the person that's going to hand the winner the check.
Yeah.
On the green, after the end of the tournament.
So this year, Kevin Rafferty.
Yep, Kevin Rafferty is our chairman, volunteer
who gives
chairman.
us our check at the end of this.
Yep.
One big check on
Well,
this is a volunteer deal too.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you this.
Okay.
This is actually meant for you. Volunteering is a good thing. I was telling you that.
It's a sense of fulfillment.
But I think the thing I want to throw in there, though, that I think is so key about this tournament too, and it is the people. It's the Birdies for Charity. That angle. When you start talking to people and they realize so that involves a whole nother layer of people in our community. The money that is raised in this tournament, and this is won in the PGA year after year after year for people involved and donations because
per capita
because it affects so many charities. So it's a place where both Sean and I have invested, time and our volunteering and writing a check because we know it goes to so many different people who benefit and can use it.
Well, and I've been on that end of it before I was in banking.
That's right.
That I ran our Boys and Girls Clubs.
Oh, right.
So I was executive director for 5 years. And so when I got there, John Deere is generous enough these days to cover all the administrative costs. So if you look at any large nonprofit that takes in money, there's administrative. They cover all those costs. So every single dollar that somebody donates, whether it's to a specific nonprofit, which there's 520 something, or to the general Birdies Fund, which has to fund the 5 to 10%, they cover those administrative. And so as a nonprofit, Boys and Girls Club, I was able to say, hey, do you mind if, would you donate through Birdies to us? Thank you very much for your donation. Right. So it just maximizes we got a lot,
Yeah.
a tremendous amount that was able to cover another full staff. I just did everything I could to maximize that and tried to get people to sign up and then got our staff, I said nonprofit, especially things like that, they don't have huge salaries. But I was like, if you guys would donate $1 of your paycheck, which is $26 a year, but you multiply that by all of, it makes a difference. And then they felt like they were contributing too. It makes people feel good to be able to give back, whatever capacity that is. So,
which is why I think, our husbands, they're sad. And women, there's women who are on the volunteer board. Sue Rector was the volunteer chairwoman last year, who are sad when they're like, oh, my time is done technically on the board, but that's why they're so willing to donate this amount of time because it's so many good causes. And now they're like, okay, now what can we do? They're still looking for jobs. Mark Kilmer, when he was the volunteer
He had to
chairman.
be it twice, yeah.
Yeah.
There are people for a long time.
And they're still out here doing something in some capacity, even though they're done with their official.
I know I said it earlier on this episode that the guy that drove our golf cart obviously was better than the one that drove Dave out here. But he just didn't know where to go.
No,
he was lost.
He went one way and we went the other way.
Oh.
But it was fun to listen to. He's been out here 9 or 10 years, and we asked him why he keeps coming back, and he goes, "I feel like I'm almost obligated." And I thought the story was going the wrong way. And he goes, because of how much good they do for over 400 charities. He just was. Yeah. And he only said 13.9.
He's at 14 now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was neat that he just felt like if somebody is going to do that much good for my community in my area, this is the least I can do is come out here and drive really cool podcasters to
from point A to point B or point C and D.
He was around the area.
So today when Amy and I were getting people off the buses and things like that, and we volunteers come and check in with us because everyone gets scanned, and then those that anybody who has mobility issues, whatever reason, this little couple jumps off the bus. So she needed a little assistance. She was 86. He jumped right off. He's 88. We're like, you need a ride? Nope, we're good. Away they went. And this is what, luckily the heat is not so bad, but away they went. They're like, nope, we know where we're going. Here we go. And away they went. And we think we have friendships. Okay, we're not that old. So they were so happy. It gives some people a real purpose. Yeah. Sure. The people who do the grounds and the, you've got the, just right up over here, the whole barns and everything.
The Grunt Dome.
Yep. Those guys live, and it's mostly men. This is their summer, and they are so excited. They have this team, and one of those gentlemen is now one of our neighbors. He just lives for the 1st of June when they get out here and start getting the grounds prepared to lay in electrical. The things that the regular everyday golfer don't notice when the course is still running, on a normal time. They just live for this. So it's the volunteer, and that's all volunteer again.
Which roping and staking, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. It does.
We rope and stake this whole thing. We've been doing this for however many years.
Gosh, yeah.
Like volunteers, we got
everything gets repainted and staked.
Just all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's cool. So we love it, obviously. We don't want it to go anywhere either.
Nope.
And our kid and my kids have helped over the years. In fact, especially the concerts now, that has brought a whole new thing. Yep. Last year, our son came to visit. I'm like, hey, you're getting to work. He said, that's fine. Wait till Saturday and Sunday night when you're trying to get thousands and thousands of people all at the door who want to leave at the same time. And then some of them may not be functioning as well as they did.
They weren't when they arrived, yes.
Mm-hmm. And even if they're not like that, just get it. Everyone wants to go.
Yes.
They've been here. some of them have no idea, could care less about golf. Some of them are all about golf and have been here since the gate have opened. And they're like, okay, the day is over. Let's go. So that's been a learning experience.
Absolutely.
That's been an adjustment. Last year was the first time for concerts, and we learned you need more porta potties in strategic places, and maybe don't move a porta potty unless you're sure somebody's not in it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And just all kinds of, but you know what? That's what's so impressive about Andrew and his team. We're like, okay, here's the problem we have. Okay, boom. And I mean, to tell you, like within like an hour, all of a sudden things are happening. And and then what's the need? And the next night was so much smoother. I mean, we had so much more smooth. And then this time I'm like, oh, look, they've addressed those. They thought of these things. I mean, it's just not, because it's all about making sure people have a great experience.
Yeah. My wife always refers to that as user experience. And you don't think about it when it's an event like a golf tournament.
Right.
But who'd have thought, paying attention to where porta potties are is really important.
Oh, yeah.
Very important.
I was at a Luke Bryan concert once when they did not have enough porta potties. It was a bad deal.
Well, not even enough, but like I said, if you catch enough people using that spot as a public restroom, maybe that's where a porta potty should go.
Well, and/or like the thing. So it's not only just the concert. There's a golf tournament happening, and it's Sunday, and it's like there's money on the line. Well, some of the people showing up for this event are like, we're here for the concert. So we're like, well, we're going to finish the golf tournament. And thank God there wasn't a playoff last year, because especially like with Blake Shelton, there was a huge crowd. But like your volunteers are roping off this area. So people are kind of stuck in this spot now because you have to rope it off because the golfers have to walk through, sign their scorecard up by the clubhouse and work their way back down. And Linda over here doesn't care that who won last year. I can't remember who won last year.
That one guy?
Oh, Sep Strapper. Sep.
Yeah.
So, he's got to make his way, sign the card, and get back down so then they can present, and then they can open the rope so people can go to the bathroom while the big reward presentation's happening. But it's just all those logistics.
I know. But
it's just
Andrew and his team are amazing. And then everybody jumps in and does whatever.
And they're like, what do you want us
say?
to do? And then they see what's happening. They're like, okay, stand here and act like a bodyguard or do whatever you need to do.
Right.
So we love it, as you can tell.
That's cool. Well, if you had any advice for our listeners that maybe don't volunteer or have thought, I could do more, or maybe there's a hole that needs filled, how do you even start volunteering?
Sign up.
Absolutely. It's so easy to navigate, I think.
And it's just a shift. I mean, we love it, so we spend most of our week.
We're out here probably the entire week.
Yeah.
And honestly, many volunteers who you would talk to would tell you the same thing. So if I'm working officially on Thursday and Friday, I'm coming out Saturday and Sunday. I guarantee I'm going to jump in and help do something someplace else. Mm-hmm. I'm here to entertain my brother and sister-in-law, or my kids are going to be here who are from out of town now. We're still going to end up holding up a Marshall sign, or whatever it is. But I would just say sign up. It's so
online.
easy. It's online.
And it's just a shift. Yeah.
It really is.
You don't have to be here all day, because some people are like,
and some people sign up all day, but you have the option of signing up for one shift.
Yep. And you get lunch. You get lunch. You get granola bars and water.
It's
and
just
you just
so
meet
worth
great
it.
people.
The payback is so worth it.
And you get to play the course?
Honestly, I think you have to sign up for 2 shifts, and then I do believe, I'm not positive about this, you have to double check this, and then you get a free round of golf here.
But even if you want to do one shift, you can come in as a spectator the whole week.
Oh, that's true too.
So your little badge,
sure.
you can. So you do one shift, you get your volunteer badge, and then the rest of the time you can come. You do need to do that one shift, but besides that,
right? And now
then
the concerts.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
now that throws in an extra part. So maybe you could do Friday afternoon, and then you're here Saturday and Sunday if you want, and you have a concert at the end.
We should volunteer.
We are.
Yeah. That's right. We are volunteering. That's right. We don't have as many letters on our badge as they do.
We got no letters.
No letters.
They got us in the door. I love how events are like collabing with other industries, like the concerts and all that. Because we went to the IndyCar race in Iowa, or NASCAR race, and they're starting to bring concerts in because it brings people into something that maybe isn't really interested in golf or whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, this is cool."
Which Jenny kind of touched on it. I have been so shocked how many volunteers out here couldn't care less about golf. Yeah. It's just about coming out to this course and helping out. And I'm like, really? I'm like, we love golf. Like, that's what sucked us in initially. Is I'm like, ooh, we get to go see this golfer or be standing. Maybe you're at the right place at the right time, and you get to have a conversation with a sibling, a girlfriend, a spouse of the golfer. I mean, that's also really fun too.
Look for tomorrow.
Oh, I can help you. I got some tips for you on how to spot golfers' families.
Yes.
That's definitely a golfer's family right there. But you got to play it cool, like you've been there before.
Sure.
Bombarding them. You're just like, hey, what's that?
Just quick Googles, call them by their first name.
Exactly. So
Jenny, how's it going?
that's funny.
That's good. Well, awesome. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for waiting on us. To
Oh,
You're
no
welcome.
problem.
Hey,
bit of golf.
we hope you enjoyed those chippers. Like, there's nothing like a Whitey's.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing like Whitey's.
I had to put half of mine in the fridge. 'cause
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I could never just do that. If I'm going to
I think it's because he was being polite because we're standing here waiting. He was like trying to. He's like, dang it.
And it was like absolutely frozen still. I was like,
Oh,
on
yeah,
like
yeah,
a beaver.
Oh, okay.
You know?
And as you notice, there's carts. You've got a lot of other things to try for Whitey's. Like,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yep.
It's all good.
I've got one thing I wrote down on the paper, and it's culture.
Yeah.
That's what kind of radiates to me of, to get that many people to come back
Well said.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like creating a good football team, creating, that's amazing. If they had to pay $2,000 or 2,000 people to come here, like, it probably wouldn't be a thing.
And some tournaments, which was shocking to me, but some tournaments do pay their people. They're not really volunteers.
Right.
That some tournaments do, which I know, like, we're like, huh?
What?
But I don't care. I've never thought of one.
We could get paid for this?
Well, yeah, some people get paid. I was like, huh?
Same
like
thing
we pay to come.
Davis says.
I know we pay to come, but I'm like,
And it's funny.
but that says about our community.
There was another volunteer who we were chatting with, and so I don't know how we got on this topic, but he said that he met a group of guys who are here currently, and they are not volunteering, but they came to the tournament, and one thing led to another, and they're like, well, what do you have to do to volunteer here? They couldn't believe that it was only $27 to be a volunteer here you get access to the course all week, come to the 2 concerts, because they had just volunteered at another course, at another event, don't know where it was, and they had to pay like $200. Now, it came with a rain suit, but they had to buy their shirt and the rain suit. And they said, this is a deal, and you get fed lunch. And I'm like, well, great. I'm so happy you're happy.
Yes. Next year we expect to see you.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, we're coming. So
that's cool.
And there's so many options of what you could do too.
there really is.
Really
where your
based on-
comfort level is, what you're like holding up a sign, or what do you want? I mean, there's a lot of choices.
What's the most popular one that people
I don't know. That's a great
Is there
question.
like a
Because I love what we're doing right now, this courtesy cart thing, driving around. But you have to be comfortable driving a cart on the course and kind of knowing your way around the course, so you're not getting schlepped off to.
So you didn't go to hole 4, 7, whatever. He got to the top of that
What
hole
would you
and
wanna
couldn't
do?
get down here.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be.
There's Andrew. What's the most popular volunteer position?
Hi, guy.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Yeah, that's another story for another podcast. Yeah. Andrew, what's the most popular volunteer spot? Would you guess? Would you know?
Which one fills
Who
up
signs
first?
Up, transportation.
Oh.
Really?
Really? The walking score.
But that takes a little bit of skill.
Oh, for sure.
It's actually the easiest job they have, but it's very protected to who gets it.
Okay.
It's a sacred.
Into the cocktails part of the day.
No, that's not
those
us.
aren't ours.
That's not
Well,
us.
yeah.
Yeah,
someone
of
might
course
have-
we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not us. Yes.
Not it.
Don't get in trouble.
But the other part is there's certain stamina. Not everybody's built to walk the course
Right.
with a score.
Like a
with
standard bearer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because some of these people have been along so long. Okay, so we're all getting a little older. There are some people that need a little assistance to get to their part. So
that's one of
that was kind of an issue for a little while. Like special services needed special services to get, so you have to kind of figure out what's the right role, because it's not always the right role for everybody.
So if I am what'd you call it, standard bearer?
Right.
Carries that sign.
You're the guy carrying the sign
Do
with
I
the
do
golfers.
that every day, or I can do it just
as
one
many
day?
days as
Yeah. No, you don't have to do it every day.
So if we get
But some
invited
do.
back, if Andrew lets us come back next year, we could do that.
You could.
So we'll be in the pro
And it's
am.
a protected role.
Then
you
we'll
said.
be a caddy. Then we'll be stand
it-
bearer.
No,
or
the
stand bearer.
score with the little computers, the one
That's
that
the
people
protected.
really want. So you're going to carry that sucker. It's not, you got a balancing thing, you got all this stuff. But yeah, no, they want the little computer.
Yeah, I forgot about caddying. Our kids caddied.
Yeah.
Jack caddied,
Oh,
they
yeah. Our
caddied.
son caddied.
They come out and caddy
Oh,
on the
they
pro
don't bring their own
pro
caddy?
am
Well,
day. Pro am day.
Pro am
Yeah.
day.
So yeah, when you caddy
that-
for me next year.
We have the hats.
Yep. There you. Those are cool.
Those are cool
Very
hats.
cool hats. No, pro am day.
Who got to golf? Who was a pro?
No, we didn't yet.
Oh, you
But
didn't.
we're buttering Andrew up so we can come back.
But
next
Tanner
year.
has a handicap. I don't know what that means. So he would be the one that would golf.
I was just going to say, I'm
yeah.
probably not going to be you.
I mean, I can whack the ball. I can tell you that. But
You
not
can-
consistently.
You can hit it on the driving range like nobody's business.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you get on the course, it's
Yeah.
me too.
I'm like a 4-person best shot type
Oh,
guy.
me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we would.
Teamwork.
Yeah, okay. Yep, that's how I
Yeah.
roll.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. Like I said, this was a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm glad that it worked out. I
Thanks.
appreciate your energy.
I was going to say, hopefully you can tell how much we love this.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
It radiates.
I mean, we do
Good.
get to see each other year round now.
We do.
But there are some people that we don't, and we get so excited to see them
Right.
at the beginning. Yeah. And I don't know if anybody told you, but there is actually a dinner that most volunteers come to
right.
beforehand. It's about a week before, and they bring anybody who can come. 2,000 people. They have a dinner, and they do just a thank you. Andrew did a beautiful job of giving a little explanation of what's ahead, thanking everybody, recognizing people. Like everybody stands up and they go, okay, if you're a year or less, sit down,
Right.
and then stands the last one at 52 years. He's the only one standing.
Okay, got it.
But I mean, there's a lot of 40-something years, and then you look around the room, you're like, you're not even half that age. Like, wow. And that's what's nice too. It's all ages.
Yeah. Which makes me, I haven't even had this conversation with Jenny yet. She was one of the volunteers of the year this year. From last year, or how did that work out?
I
was
think
you and Ron Sovey?
It's like over the many years or whatever.
Volunteer of the year, right here, sitting here, and that is who you're interviewing. So I got to make sure I mention that because I haven't even told you. Congratulations!
Thank you. Thanks.
No better spot to do it than on the podcast.
I know. Yeah,
Thanks.
I've been saving it for the podcast.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for having us. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks. It was fun.
Absolutely.
I'll tell Ashley that. I'm much better. I'm in a much better headspace right now.
No, that's good.
You made it very easy.
I like your shirts with tractors. Don't you like I have one of those too. Are those
Yeah,
our
I
new
was gonna
boards?
ask.
Is that one of the
They're-
$27 ones?
No,
It's not.
No, I have one of those too. I'm gonna wear it on Sunday. Today I wore my other volunteer shirt. Or no, now I have my
Now you have
fortress.
your-
I've had 3 shirts on today actually. But that's one of my favorites.
Me
we have
too.
quite a collection. Kind of
We
like
do.
you can make a quilt, but this is gonna be one of my. I'm gonna wear that a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, listeners, we have talked with the tournament director and we've talked with some of the volunteers to shed light on what it takes to make the John Deere Classic kick off. But we haven't talked about are the people that are responsible for making those shots in the rough absolutely hell and the course looking as beautiful as it is. So we've got Jarrett here to kind of shed some light on the agronomy side of golf.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You don't think of agronomy when you think of golf that much. But the same way you don't think of it when you watch Iowa State play a football game or, the Cubs play a baseball game. There's agronomy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of the behind the scenes. Behind the
Exactly.
scenes part of the golf course.
So, Garrett, I'm guessing you went for turf management?
Yes, I did. Yep. Graduated in 2019 from Iowa State with turf management degree.
Awesome.
Youngin.
Yeah. So have you been here since you graduated?
Yes, I have. I actually did all 3 of my internships here and then got a role as an assistant in training and kind of worked my way up to lead assistant now. So, yeah, I've been here since 2016.
So your boss put you up to this?
Yes, that is correct.
That's great. Your pleasure, his loss. I love that. So you said we got about 20 minutes, but I understand that's because there's work to do after these golfers play every day.
Yes, that is correct. So we do a kind of like a split shift. So we start about we start our morning route around the golf course at 4:30 in the morning. Usually we're finishing up about 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll kind of have breakfast. We'll kind of break apart, let everyone kind of go home and sleep. Well, me and the other assistant and Jonathan are kind of here making sure everything's going all right. And then we kind of get back together, eat dinner about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then we go back out for another shift about 5 o'clock, 5:30, whenever we're able to get on the golf course and kind of work all the way until about 9, 10 o'clock at night. Depending on conditions, it might be a little drier, might be a little bit more work to do, as like fixing bunkers, just kind of getting them prepped for the morning, mowing a lot of the surfaces out here. So it could be a little bit later.
So this golf course, you manage the turf on it all year round, but this week in particular, what extras do you do?
So kind of a little bit extra is we do a full hand rake on all the bunkers every single morning. Every inch of the bunkers are fully raked. Versus normally we'll spin them with a machine. Kind of helps us speed up the process throughout the year. We are double cutting greens, so it's like just kind of making sure that we are completely clean and everything is completely mowed, which is kind of a typical practice every day. But, removing dew on the golf course in the morning, that's a big thing for us as well. So we do a few extra things, but nothing really out of the ordinary. We're just doing it every day and repetitively doing it.
Is it nerve-wracking? Know that PGA's here and it's like everybody's going to be watching. They're going to see it.
Oh yeah, it can definitely be nerve-wracking, but it's fun.
Like the guy that hit the chip over here, and we heard, "Oh, I hit a great shot. I hit the effing dead spot on the green or something." And I'm like,
yeah, definitely. No, there's it's a big area, big amount of turf we have.
How many acres are here?
I think it's 380 total.
Wow.
And we maintain, I think, roughly 250 or something like that we maintain.
And how many members are on your staff?
We have 22 members on our staff.
And there are some volunteers, right?
Yes, so we have, I think it's about 28. Altogether, we're about 55 to 60.
And what do they call themselves? What did you just learn? Like the Dirty Dozen or whatever they're called?
We have the Grunt Crew.
Grunt Crew.
They're kind of behind the scenes. They're kind of with the Classic themselves.
Okay.
We brought in about 25 to 30 agronomy volunteers just to help for our staff and just make this product we're producing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and who'd have thought there'd be as much agronomic detail that goes into this? But you can't have any weeds. You got to have healthy green grass. You got to have the ability to fix fairways, maintain your greens. At least this year you've had rain to work with.
Yeah, and
Probably too much.
Yes. Yeah, and it makes it kind of difficult on us because we're trying to mow everything every single day, minus the rough. We're kind of letting that go, but mowing fairways and all that. And we had about an inch of rain on Tuesday night, and leading into the next day, we are trying to decide if we can mow Wednesday night or not. So every 2 hours going out, kind of jumping around during the Pro-Am, figuring if we can mow or not. We ended up mowing, and we were good. We had a few wet fairways that we had to kind of hold off on.
Because your risk there is like rutting it up.
Yep, and tearing it up, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep it as pristine as possible.
So being that it's John Deere Classic, I'm guessing you have John Deere equipment and some of the best.
Yes,
yeah.
We do.
How's that make your job? Is it that much easier? Good equipment. I mean, you interned here, so you probably hadn't had to work anywhere else with maybe crappier equipment. But
I've had a little bit of experience on other equipment, but we're very lucky with what we have and having this partnership with John Deere, and we get the best equipment, and it's awesome to see.
Does any of it have GPS mounted on it?
Yes, we have GPS. Our sprayers are GPS.
They probably use John Deere Ops.
But not your...
Yes, we do use John Deere Ops.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Awesome.
Yep, they're...
but not like the fairway mowers and not the green mowers.
It's not field 1, field 2. It's
steer.
hole 1, hole 2, hole 3. Yeah.
Yeah, no auto steer on that. We have the auto track on our sprayers, though.
That'd be pretty cool to see, like all these little things on the map going around doing their job.
That'd be awesome.
It was neat. 8 o'clock we rolled up this morning, and it was like an army of gators.
Yeah.
Just left out the front gate and by the welcome door. You had your big blowers, which reminded us of the racetrack blowers to try to track off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the same brand. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Buffalo blower.
Yeah,
that's funny. So when I tuned in yesterday afternoon on the 4th of July, they were talking about the type of grass, and a lot of PGA courses I think are like a Bermuda, and they said this is different.
Yeah, so we have we're bent grass, tees, greens, and fairways, and then we're bluegrass / fescue rough. So your Bermudas are they're lower growing. You got to mow them at a lower height, warm season grass, and here being cool season, we have to mow it kind of at a higher height and kind of. It can get dense, very, very dense, but there's different ways of playing it too, and these guys are so good that doesn't really affect them.
They were talking about the rough and how thick it is. Yeah. You know, how you could lose a ball in some spots of the rough. If Tanner and I were playing and we got off the fairway, we'd lose 20 balls.
We would never be in the fairway.
No. No.
We would have to have the spotters.
Yeah. What do you guys do? What's like your fertility regimen? Are you out putting fertility on constantly in grass, or?
Not really constantly.
Yeah.
We kind of like rough. We kind of have one application in the spring and one in the fall.
Yep.
And just for greens and fairways and all that, we spoon feed it is what we kind of call it, just a little bit here or there as needed.
And I was reading that the current superintendent was assistant underneath a superintendent that had been here for a decade or longer.
Yep.
But he got, I'm going to call it a promotion, and now works with the PGA and still can come in and advise.
Yes. So he's our director of agronomy. I think he's with the PGA Tour. I can't remember his exact title. So he still looks over our golf course and helps us out as needed. So he's actually here this week with us, and then Jonathan is he went down to San Antonio. He was here as an assistant, left, went down to San Antonio, and then came back and got the superintendent position here. So
cool.
Nice.
It's nice to have the resource.
Yes.
Is there any golfer that you just, God darn it, that guy's playing. He always kills my fairway or something. I mean,
he's
like,
a big divot.
we'll just
There goes a beaver pelt.
No,
Okay.
none in particular.
Okay,
they all
so
just
for me as a golfer, I've always wondered because I've been told multiple ways. So for our very small segment of golfers, maybe they'll find some value in this. If I do take a divot, a beaver pelt, is it best to use the sand that's in my cart or to go get that and put it back in and replace its spot?
So if we like putting sand down, we prefer the sand. I know. So like when we go out and we fill divots this afternoon, we will pull the pelt out and then fill it up with green sand.
Okay.
I think it recovers a lot better. The bent grass kind of creeps in and just kind of fills itself in pretty quickly.
So you're not actually seeding new grass. You're just promoting the roots to like the rhizomes and all that to spread.
Yeah, so bent grass is stoloniferous, so it kind of the stolen roots will kind of run along the surface. They don't go underground, so they can fill in and creep pretty quickly.
And this bluegrass will do that a little bit too, won't it?
Bluegrass is rhizomatous, which is just kind of that's like below the surface.
Okay, that's
so that one doesn't fill in just as quickly, but like Bermuda, zoysia, a lot of warm season grasses are stoloniferous, so they can fill in and creep in pretty quickly.
Okay, so when I rarely hit the green and go to fix my divot, I was taught divot fixer goes in and you push towards the middle, and others are taught to pry up. You don't want it pried up, right?
Nope, never pry up because you'll rip the roots, and that's when you get your little yellow marks on the green. So you kind of push it in and pry it together, and then step it down. You just kind of move that surface, and you don't affect the roots.
Nice.
now you know.
I do. And now I would be that guy on the golf course that says, no, that's not how you do this.
I know.
So when you did your time at Iowa State, did you get to work on the football field?
When you did your time.
No, I did not. I worked at Homewood Golf Course. Over there for all 3 years that I was there, or 4 years I was there.
Okay.
So, yeah,
cool.
Got a little bit of experience there and worked for the city of Ames.
And we need to get Andrew some Iowa State gear.
What did you do at City of Ames?
I worked with that was the golf course, and then we also did some
Homewood.
baseball fields and stuff around the city.
I felt like I knew you. I probably worked at the city same time you did. I worked for the fire department there.
Yep.
I worked with Patrick Waynia.
Okay.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
I coach with Pat.
Okay. Yeah.
So Pat's, we coached softball. Our daughters were on the same team this year. What a small world.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I worked. He was the superintendent of the golf course and also took care of the cemetery and kind of a lot of the city stuff there.
Wow.
So
That's where I know him from, cemetery.
Very cool.
Fought a lot of fires at the cemetery, did you?
No, but we did a lot of training.
Oh.
They always have hydrants there that we could train on.
Not a lot of people that cared.
Not a lot of people.
They couldn't voice their opinions.
and for some reason, they always have the fuel was always at the cemetery too. So if you wanted to fill up small stuff or whatever, they had bigger fuel tanks because they do a lot of mowing.
Yeah. So we're a prestigious ag podcast, and we like prestigious things. And if we can't buy those, that agronomy stuff, how do we go about getting?
You have to be on this volunteer team now.
Yeah.
Come out and volunteer next year.
This is a volunteer gig.
I'm hoping
It's just different.
I'm hoping dropping Pat's name is going to get us one of those. Just magically show
Just
up.
a hat. I mean, we have a hat wall in our studio, South Vames and Slater. We got a studio in an old Casey's, so got everyone's hats up on the wall. Look good up there.
We're gonna need more wall after a while.
We are. I think we're gonna have to move to the west wall,
all the way around,
and then another couple rows down.
So if our listeners have any interest in growing their own grass, or they complain about not having the quality of lawn that they have, what's one piece of advice you can give them before we send you out to the course to get everything prepped for tomorrow?
Just learn what kind of turf you have and manage it as that turf needs. It's good to know what you're doing by what grass you're growing. Everything's a little different, and just that's really all you can do. Making sure it has enough moisture, not too much moisture. You got to kind of balance that out, and I mean, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. That's the hard part. You battle some areas, but you can also grow grass pretty easily in certain areas. But
what made you want to get into turf?
So my dad actually works for a kind of like a fertilizer company and chemical company that delivers to golf courses and stuff like that, and he's a delivery driver for them. And he kind of was like, hey, what do you think about working on a golf course? And I was like, it's not a bad idea. So I kind of talked with his salesman and kind of got me into it and got interested in it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. I think I could be on a golf course every single day of my life.
Yeah.
So what's a golf course assistant superintendent do in the winter?
In the winter, we do a lot of projects. So we'll, if we need to add drainage, we'll put in tile and sod and stuff as needed. Taking down some trees if need be, if they are. We've been battling a lot with dead trees kind of dying
Elms.
out. Yeah, ash trees.
Ash trees.
The emerald ash borer. We've been battling that pretty hard. So just kind of doing that, making sure we're creating a safe environment here too for all the spectators and fans out here and all our guests that come and golf.
Yeah.
Along with some projects, we take care of our shop. Our shop is pretty phenomenal. So we always do upgrades and make it the best place it possibly can be.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, and you can let your boss know that it wasn't so painful. You get to go back and brag that you had a good time with us.
He came and scouted us out and then sent someone else, didn't he? That's
See ya.
Yeah, it's not worth my time, he said.
But no, this is our pleasure. We thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.